Oh, what are you guys doing here? Oh, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really tired. I've been working a lot, recording lots of videos with Pastor Richard and Andrew, and scheduling our graphics and everything for Facebook and doing our website updates. And it's just been a crazy week. But now that we're here, you're probably wondering, why do I have this goofy hat on? Well, it's a crown, and I was wearing it because I wanted to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about a crown, and I'm kind of trying to remember why. You'll have to give me a second as I kind of wake up. But, that's what it was. It has to do with the story that I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So, I wanted to share with you a little bit. I know right now that your life is different and that it is not what you wanted it to be. Probably you're missing out on all sorts of fun activities, whether you were going to dance class or you were doing art lessons or you were playing sports or even doing something at school. And I realize that it sucks that you're missing out on that. It's a bummer. And I want you guys to know that I recognize that. Miss Peggy recognizes that. And we know that it's frustrating that you're kind of stuck at home and you probably feel like there's not a whole lot for you to do. You probably feel like there's not a whole lot going on. And what makes it even worse is you see that there's probably people that could really use some help right now. There's people that need others to step in and to help them kind of navigate this time. And you might even be thinking, what could I do to help with that? What could I do to maybe make somebody smile or to encourage somebody or to help somebody? And I realize that that's kind of a tension that we're all living in right now. I'm questioning that myself. I'm thinking about what I can do to help other people and what the church can do to help other people. And it's just kind of where what you're thinking. If you're thinking about that, what you're thinking about is what you should be thinking about. It's where all of our minds should be. We should all be looking at how can we help others. But today specifically, even though I'm tired and there's lots going on, I wanted to talk to you about a young woman from the Bible, okay? And her name is Esther. And Esther is in the Old Testament. It's a book. It's its own book. It's its own story in the Old Testament, which is the part of the Bible that was written before Jesus was alive. And so Esther was a Jew living in Persia. So she wasn't even in Jerusalem, in Israel. She was living in captivity under another king. And it just so happened that she was part of an age group of women that were collected because the king was looking for his new queen. He was looking for a new wife after he really got irritated with his old one. Probably not the best thing to be doing, but that's where we find ourselves in this story. And Esther was collected with the rest of the women. And basically, she went through this really long kind of process. It was probably kind of like American Idol, where they brought all the women in before the king and they had to show them what special talents and how they looked and different things like that. The Bible kind of references their makeup and clothing, and it talks a bit about the whole process they had to go through. But throughout that whole process, Esther eventually became the one that the king chose, which is why I'm wearing this goofy crown on my head. It's kind of cool. It lights up. It does weird stuff. And that was just to help me remember that that's what I was supposed to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off now. And I'm going to grab this little guy here. And so this is going to be our representation of Esther today. And like I said, Esther was the queen of Persia. And so she was living in the palace with the king and was trying to kind of navigate her life. She didn't really want to be the queen, but here she was. And so she was, kind of just going through it and living life. And then this guy named Haman, who was kind of like the king's vice president. He was basically like the second in command, the next guy up from the king. And he passed a law discriminating against the Jews, saying that the Persians needed to kill the Jews, needed to get rid of the Jews. And so because Esther was a Jew, she obviously didn't like that. She was scared by that. And eventually her cousin, a guy by the name of Mordecai, came to her and said, Esther, you're the queen. You've got to talk to the king about this. You've got to do something about this. It says specifically in the Bible, this part of the story is found in Esther chapter 4 and in verse 14, it's the last part of the verse. He kind of says to her, "And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" And basically, when he says that, what he's saying to her is, how do you know that you're not here specifically for this? How do you know that you're not here specifically to help our people? And so eventually, Esther kind of overcomes her fear, and she had good reason to be afraid, because anybody in her time, if they went to approach the king for any reason, and he didn't summon them, that could basically mean you could die. And so Esther was like, okay, you know what? This is important enough. I got to do this. So she goes to the king and she intercedes for her people. And you know what? The king listened to her. She saved all of the Jews in Persia. She saved them from being killed. And it was because she was brave enough to know that God was calling her to do something in this great crisis. She didn't know exactly what she was supposed to do, but she followed through on God's plan, and she listened to people in her life that were telling her, hey, here's an idea, and she did it. She trusted in God's plan. She trusted that God was going to see her through. And so that's the message I have for you guys tonight. God's got a big, big plan. But part of that is he wants us to trust him. And so even in spite of everything that's going on right now, where we can't go to school, we can't go to church, we can't play sports, we can't do really anything, God still has a plan. And you know what's even crazier than that? Is that you guys have a role in that plan. God has something that we can all do to make the world a little better. That's why I'm working so hard to record these videos. That's why we're doing live church online. That's why I'm sending out stuff to your parents and trying to give you guys ideas for activities you can do. We all have a role to play. And so as I was thinking about something maybe practical that you guys could do this week, I wanted to encourage you to do two things. One, I want to encourage you to pray for all the nurses and the doctors and the police departments and the firefighters and the people that are still out working right now, even though it's dangerous. And I wanted to encourage you, pray for those people. They need extra power. They need to be kept safe as best we can. And one of the ways we can do that is pray that God would give them the energy they need to stay alert, to stay awake, but also that he would protect them while they're out keeping us safe and working and trying to stop everything that's going on in the world right now. And the other thing is, and this might be a little tangible, you're probably going to need your parents' help for this, is maybe you guys could even record a video and post it on their Facebook page or something saying thank you. And I'll help you out. I'll link a couple pages down below this video that you guys can kind of look at and see, oh, that's who we can post this video for. And I hope that maybe, mom and dad's phone, all you got to do is just record yourself saying, hey, thank you for being out there, keeping us safe. And do that, and I guarantee you it'll have a huge impact. It'll make them feel appreciated. It'll make them feel like the work they're doing is valuable, even in this scary time. So that's what I got for you tonight. God's got a plan. We have a role in that plan. And sometimes that role, even though we're small, even though we feel like we can't do anything, sometimes that role might be small, but it's just as important as everything else that anybody's doing. God's got a plan. And sometimes he calls us to fill out roles in that plan. And that's a role I see for you guys. Just like Esther had a role in saving her people, I see a role for you guys encouraging people and being a voice saying, hey, we can get through this, we can keep going, and we're thankful for all the hard work you're doing. So maybe think about doing that together as a family. Again, I'll link a place where you can post this and find some places to post your video. And I hope that you guys take advantage of that opportunity. I also just want to pray with you right now. Lord Jesus, I just thank you for all the kids watching this video and all the families. God, I know that it's a trying time. It's a struggle to kind of get through some of the stuff that's going on. But I just want to say that we see you. We embrace your love for us, and we're so thankful that you're keeping us safe and that you're being faithful to us through this time. And we just pray that you would equip us to help shine a little bit of light in our world, we lift up the nurses and the doctors and the police officers and the firefighters and the other people who are still working on the front lines right now to deliver food and to try to keep us safe and make sure that we have the things we need. Just pray that you would continue to be with our families, Lord. Keep these kids safe. Reassure them that you love them and that at some point life is going to go back to normal. They will be able to go back to school. They will be able to play sports and to do all the things that they're used to doing. And there will be a time where we are not confined. There will be a time where we can run outside and play. And there will be a time, again, where our life will look even different than it does now. So we just thank you for your love and for your grace, and we offer this time up to you today. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great week. I hope that this time of quarantine hasn't been too crazy for you. If you want to post in the comments below this video and let me know what you're doing during this time, whether you're playing games with your family or maybe you're watching videos on Netflix or Disney Plus or different things like that, just post some pictures. Let me know what's going on. Please know that Miss Peggy and I love you and we miss you, and we are so sad that we can't have kids church and Sunshine Singers and choir and all the stuff that's going on right now. But know that you're on our minds, and we're praying for you every day. And just be blessed this week, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.